Hello everyone, this is Yeeflex and welcome back to another Yeeflex Outdoors video. This video is going to be an early April recap for my fishing trip out to San Pablo Reservoir. So this was a pretty cool, crazy, and interesting trip altogether in terms of fishing trip. It's not really anything outside of the fishing that was bad. It was more so like when I was fishing. So basically, the first thing is that I brought a friend out. It's a friend that I met through work. This was his first time fishing in many, many years. So this trip for him was almost like a beginner's trip again to go fishing. And I was showing him all the basics and stuff like that. And the water level at San Pablo was really high. Um, Basically, in one of the pictures that you might see later on in this video, that the water was almost all the way up to one of the trees. So there was not as much fishing area on the shore, but we were still able to find one. That day there were two people on the dock. We were to the right of the dock if you're looking down at the dock from the hill. So two people at the dock, group of 3 or 4 people right next to us, which was to the right of them, and then we were to the right of that group of 4. So that's going to be important because the first people to actually have caught a fish, I believe, were the people on the dock. When we got there, I talked to them a little bit and they said they had caught one fish. And then the people, or the group next to us, pretty much caught quite a few fish. But to start off, I think they caught like 1 or 2 fish right after we kind of got there, for within like the first hour or 2. And then after that, I got a bite on my rod. But then the weirdest thing was the whole leader broke off. So I don't know if I had a really big fish or if the fish just went underneath a log, because there's a lot of things to snag on since the water level is so high. So then my whole leader and weight came off, so everything just disappeared. So I felt a fish bite on there, but nothing too much. But then afterwards, the group next to us, which was like the group of 4 people, they caught like 2 other fish like back to back. So at the end of the day, they ended up with like 4 fish, and they just caught them like back to back. It was like crazy. It was like 1, and then 2, and then 3. Like, because at first I thought they only had like 1 or 2 fish, but I think they told me they only had 1. And then they ended up getting like 3 right off the bat after that. And then for us, like, I got that first bite, and then I was showing my friend how to cast, and then after that I was going to cast my own rod, and then my second rod, which was like my little red rod that's under 6 foot, we call it the lucky red rod, it got hit, and I fought the fish, and it was like one of the best fights of a fish I've had at San Pablo in a little while, because in the last 5 trips I had not caught a trout or got a bite at all. So just getting a bite and feeling the fight of a fish was really enjoyable. I was pretty ecstatic. And my buddy actually caught a video of me catching the fish, but he still has to like edit it, so I still haven't seen what that video looked like. But it was pretty crazy intense, because like he was recording me and I was telling him to grab the net, and like he was kind of trying to do both, and then like I really wanted him to net this fish, because we did have a plan for this fish, as I'll tell you guys later. But luckily, like, I was able to tire out the fish enough, and then he netted the fish, and this fish was actually pretty big. I thought it was a lot smaller than it actually was. So that was like the best feeling of catching that fish. And the people next to us that caught the 4 trout like ended up leaving after they got like 3 back to back. And then later on, me and my friend, we were still fishing out there, and we didn't get a bite for a little while, and the guys that were at the dock, apparently they talked to us a little bit, and they started off the day with 1, and then they ended up moving off the dock to the left of the dock, and then ended up catching another one. So they ended up leaving with 2 fish for the day. And we were about to have the same thing, because later on the day, like, I was talking to my friend, and then he noticed that my green rod was getting bit, and I hooked the fish, and I was playing the fish all the way through. And this is the weirdest one. the trout was like swimming all the way around, and then there was like kind of a little nook underneath right where we were standing, where like there's like some dirt that's like kind of created a little cave underneath the water, and there was like a little kind of area underneath, and the trout just swam under there and just sat there, and like we were trying to haul it up, and we were trying to like get it up because we couldn't move. I was reeled all the way up, my line leader was reeled all the way up, the weight was pretty much to the tip of my fishing rod, and I like couldn't even pull this fish up. We were trying to get the net down there, we couldn't reach it. We tried poking the trout with the stick, we couldn't get it. Eventually my buddy poked the trout enough with the stick, but then the hook broke off, and then the trout just swam off. So that was really involved. I think we spent like 10 or 15 minutes trying to get the trout out of the nook. So we could have had a second trout, but at the end of the day, we worked so hard to try to get that trout that trout pretty much earned its right to swim off and live and fight another day. So it was this lucky pass, and it worked for it. So it worked out all in the long run. But basically, when I was cleaning up like at the reservoir, like I forgot to like measure the fish. So the fish was what I thought was 18 inches, and then when I brought it to the cleaning station, actually in the main area of San Pablo, a couple of people came up to us and was like, "Oh wow, you can catch trout here, this looks like a pretty good size one." It just didn't dawn on me how big this fish was, especially when I was cleaning it. And then later when we got back home, my buddy, I gave him the fish because one of his coworkers basically was gonna make us some trout sushi. So his coworker kind of cooks everything up. He's a Japanese guy, and he basically will pretty much cook anything that I guess my friend would give him in terms of like things we caught, like let's just say saltwater, freshwater, so like trout, let's say crab or something like that. So he would cook it, and he offered to make some trout sushi, and I never had trout sushi, and my buddy had it from him before when his coworker caught his own trout and sold him some trout sushi. So he made some for us with this trout, but before he gave it to him, because I gave him the fish, he measured this fish and ended up being a 20-inch fish, which actually is my PB personal best trout, because my best one is a 19-incher. So I thought this was an 18-inch trout, and it ended up being a 20-inch trout. So it was a lot bigger than I thought it was. But yeah, his coworker made the trout sushi, and I'll show a picture here. Man, that was really good. I guess trout, from what I know from cooking it in the past, like it takes on the flavor of whatever you add to it, and this trout sushi pretty much tasted like a California roll, like the way his coworker made it. Like it looks legit in the packaging, and just the taste of it was like a California roll. I guess he mixed it with mayo or something, but it was really good. It made quite a bit, this 20-inch trout. Like my buddy had like 3 containers, and then I had 3 containers, so his coworker made like 6 containers worth out of this 20-inch trout. And then you'll probably see a picture as well that the meat was really orange. From what I've read and heard, that the orange meat trouts come from Mount Lassen, because just depending on the feed that they feed the hatchery trout, I think the hatchery trout at Lassen, they feed them like shrimp pellets at times to make their orange meat kind of that color. So I could be incorrect, but I've got some that were more the white meat and some that were more the orange meat. I do think it kind of depends on the feed from the hatchery, but if anyone knows more, definitely let me know here. But yeah, overall, it was a really great day. Could have almost ended with 3 fish, but ended up having 1. But it's okay, because at the end of the day, we ended up having some really good trout sushi. But the bite was really picking up. I mean, the group next to us caught 4, and the guys on the dock caught 2. And this guy and his son, before we were leaving, actually they caught 1 trout when we were leaving. So the bite is pretty much on there. So but there really is limited space to shore fish, so especially where we were at. So it might be a little while before there's a lot of room to shore fish, but it seems like the bite was pretty good, at least at this time. I don't know how it's been after that, but I do have a trip planned with another buddy of mine who I went last year in September. That was one of the videos I think I posted as well. I'm trying to get him on a fish because he's never caught a fish bigger than an anchovy or a bait fish before. So that trip will be at the end of April, and a lot of my friends I'm taking out right now are people that haven't caught fish in a while, just because I've been telling them I've been going fishing, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't gone in a while," or "I've never caught a fish before bigger than like I don't know 4 inches." So figure I'd take them out, show them the full fishing experience and stuff like that. So overall, really great trip. Got my new PB for a 20-inch trout, and just super happy about that. So hope you guys like this recap video, and we'll see you guys in the next one for the next kind of end of April recap video. Hopefully I catch some more fish in that video. Anyways, have a good one, everyone. Peace.